Jake Harper from American Torah here, and I'm still in Proverbs 10, and I'm going to jump around a little bit. I want to read several verses to talk about three kinds of speech. And, speech, wisdom and foolishness, righteousness and wickedness, these are things that Solomon talks about a lot in the Proverbs. So let me read you Proverbs chapter 10, verses 6, 10, 11, and 14. Verse 6. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Verse 10. He who winks with the eye causes trouble, but a prating fool will fall. Verse 11. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. And finally, verse 14. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. Now, there are lots of examples of these same things in this chapter and all through Proverbs. So I'm almost just picking out 4 verses at random. And these 4 verses illustrate 3 kinds of speech. The first speech is righteous speech. Blessings are on the head of the righteous. He who walks with integrity walks securely. The wise in heart will receive commands. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life. Love covers all sins. You can tell a righteous person or a foolish person or a wicked person, no matter what they seem like at first. If you watch them over a long enough period of time, if you listen to them talk, they will tell you who they are. Let people talk and they will reveal their hearts over time. The righteous person builds people up. He edifies his community, his family, his friends. Doesn't mean that he always tells them nice things, things that people want to hear, but he tells them the truth. He encourages them by telling them the truth. He speaks God's words. He teaches Torah. He teaches the gospel, the real gospel, not a feel-good, wishy-washy gospel. God loves all behaviors the same, because we'll get to that one next. The second kind of speech is wicked speech. And this is the one who will tell you what you want to hear. He will tell you that God is love, and all we need to do is love each other, and that solves all problems. Except that nobody knows what love is without the word. We need to be taught how to love. We need God's commandments, or we follow our hearts, and that doesn't get us anywhere good. So a wicked speech is a destroyer. He tears things down and he undermines what's real and true and edifying. He will flatter you to make you think that he's encouraging you and edifying you, but really he's setting you up for a fall, whether he means it or not. He will lie to you in order to manipulate you. And we see that on television every day. He'll teach wickedness. He will say that God's commandments don't apply anymore, or the God of the Old Testament was evil. These are the words of a wicked person. Now, the third kind of speech is foolish. It's not necessarily wicked in itself, and it's definitely not righteous. But the main characteristic of foolish speech is it's pointless. It's just babbling. People who talk just to hear themselves talk. They're not trying to accomplish anything. They're just filling space. And eventually, this kind of speech becomes a distraction. It's maybe entertaining, but sometimes entertainment keeps you from doing worthwhile things. It keeps you from focusing on what's really important, the commandments of God. What Solomon said later, fear God and keep his commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. And if anybody's speech doesn't underline that, and I'm not saying that everybody has to be talking about God and God's commandments all the time. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that if a person's speech is always pointless, is always pointing away from God, away from diligence and hard work and productive behavior, it's either wicked or foolish, depending. So the 3 kinds of speech that Solomon's Proverbs talks about: the righteous speech, the wicked speech, and foolish. And you can always tell which kind of speech and what's in a person's heart by letting them talk. They talk long enough, they're going to tell you what's in there. This is Jay Carper from American Torah. Be blessed.